That's the real reason why people make Natty or Not videos, and that's the real reason why people watch them. It actually has very little to do with helping people maintain realistic expectations. What's up guys, Sean Nalawani, RealScienceAthletics.com, and in this video today, I want to address the whole natty or not subject and explain why it's not something that I've ever talked about here on this channel. I get messages from people all the time over on my Instagram asking whether I think so-and-so is natural or enhanced, and so I figured that it was worth talking about here. Now, to preface this, just so that you don't get the wrong impression from what I'm about to say, I definitely do think that being a fake natty, claiming that you're natural when you're actually using PEDs, I think that that is an extremely lame and misleading thing to do. Being enhanced and just not saying anything about it, that's one thing. I'm still not a fan of that either, but especially for those guys who are just straight up lying about it, I mean, I really just have no idea how those people even look at themselves in the mirror, to be honest. And yes, that includes TRT or SARMs or growth hormone or any performance enhancing drug. So I have no respect whatsoever for fake naturals, and if I could just press a button and publicly expose every single one of them, I would press that button without even thinking twice. However, that said, as much as I am against fake natties, there are a few reasons why I don't specifically make natty or not videos on this channel. So the first reason is because, very simply, when it comes to those more middle ground cases where it's not completely obvious either way, the truth is that I just don't know the answer. And regardless of how much knowledge and how much experience somebody else might have, the reality is that they don't know the answer for sure either. They can make their most educated guess, but there's always going to be a margin for error. Now, if somebody out there is carrying just a ridiculous amount of muscle while being totally shredded at the same time and their FFMI is just totally off the charts, then okay, that's a bit different. Or if somebody has gone through a sudden significant transformation really quickly while also showing obvious signs of PED use, then that's also a different scenario. But when it comes to those more sort of borderline cases, which is what most people are going to be the most interested in seeing videos about, where someone has that super impressive physique, but it's still conceivable that they could be natural, in that case, the truth is that no one really knows for sure. Because the fact is that genetic outliers do exist in this world. You take a large enough sample size, and there's gonna be just those ridiculous genetic freaks in that extreme upper percentile, those 1 in a million physical specimens who are able to accomplish things that 99.99999% of other people can't. Just like it's exceptionally uncommon for someone to be able to run 100 meters in under 10 seconds, there are a select few human beings on this planet with just the right muscle fiber distribution and just the right body structure and mechanics that when you combine that with an extreme work ethic over a long period of time, they're going to be one of the very few people who can achieve that. And that goes for all areas of life, and so it only stands to reason that there are also going to be those extreme body composition outliers who can put on abnormal amounts of muscle while maintaining abnormally low body fat at the same time. Now, I am not denying for 1 second that there are plenty of legit fake natties out there and that those guys are the worst. But believe it or not, there are also plenty of legit lifetime natural lifters with very impressive physiques. And the issue is that outside of long-term precise drug testing that just isn't going to be practical in the first place and that nobody's obligated to do anyway, there's just no way to definitively know whether someone really is a fake natural or if they're just an extreme genetic specimen. And then on top of that, another huge challenge is that the way somebody looks in online pictures and videos, that can differ quite a lot from how they look in person, which is something that I've talked about many times before. You really can't judge someone's size online through a screen. And so if someone is really lean and then they have that ideal bodybuilding structure in terms of muscle shape and insertions and joint size, they're going to look massive in photos and videos even if they aren't actually that big. And then combined with the leanness, it's going to look really suspect. And then when you combine that with optimal lighting conditions, which really can make a shocking difference. You know, just having the light source coming from directly behind you or directly in front of you, that can make it look like you barely even lift. Whereas if you shift the light source to coming from the side or coming from the top down, then all of a sudden it looks like all you've been doing is training and tracking macros for the past 10 years straight. Then you add proper posing, the right angles, having a pump, putting on a bit of oil, you slap some Instagram filters on it, and that finished product that you see online can be very different from what that person would look like if you just removed all of those things. So the bottom line is that with very good genetics combined with a very good work ethic to maximize that genetic potential, combined with the sort of illusion of fully optimized pictures and videos, when you put all of that together, there's just no way to know for sure whether someone in that more middle ground zone is truly natty or not. No matter how confident you might be, there's always going to be the possibility of being wrong. Which brings me to the second point, which is that publicly calling someone out for being enhanced, if in reality they're actually natural, that is actually a very serious thing, and it has very real consequences for that person, especially if you're calling them out in front of a really large audience. Now, a lot of people will say, they shouldn't be upset about it, it's just a compliment, but if someone is legitimately natural and says they're natural, and then you make a video saying that they're enhanced, sure, it's a compliment on some level, but that person has already been accused probably a million times before of being on PEDs in their own comment sections by other people and possibly in other natty or not videos, and they already know that they're in amazing shape. They really don't need more validation in that area. Your one extra little compliment isn't really going to change anything for them. And really what you're doing, if they are in fact natural, is you're publicly calling them a liar. You're potentially accusing them of breaking the law depending on what you think they're using. You're discrediting their accomplishments because you're saying that they used PEDs to achieve their physique, when in reality, maybe they just trained really hard and dieted their ass off for the past 12 years straight to get to where they are. And you are reducing their credibility in the eyes of their followers, which harms their reputation on some level and even could harm their business on some level as well. Not to mention that all the backlash that they end up receiving, that could affect them mentally as well. So sure, it's a compliment, but if you're wrong about them being enhanced, then there's also a lot of genuinely negative things that come along with that. And let me know in the comments what you think about this. Are natty or not videos somewhat unethical because legit naturals are inevitably going to end up being falsely accused in the process? Or is it just fair game either way because people are entitled to give their opinions? But once again, I'm not saying that there aren't real fake natties out there. I'm not saying that those people aren't total frauds for claiming to be natural when they're not. And I recognize that a lot of these natty or not videos, they do end up exposing a percentage of those guys, which I do think is a good thing. I have no sympathy whatsoever for guys who are using PEDs and are blatantly lying about it. But my philosophy is that because I can never know for sure whether someone is truly natural or enhanced, unless it's just totally off the charts obvious, because there's always going to be that possibility of someone just being an extreme genetic outlier, probably also with an extreme work ethic, given that fact, in my view, it's better to just not say anything, because I believe that it's not my right to gamble on someone's reputation like that. If the choice was between making, say, 10 natty or not videos and being right in 9 of them, but then being wrong in one of them and raking in all those views and clicks and subscribers and ad revenue, I personally would still rather make no videos at all, because I don't think that it's right for me to sacrifice that one truly natural guy and publicly tarnish him when he has nothing to do with those other 9 guys. Not to mention that he has no realistic way to prove otherwise. The amount of testing that someone would have to undergo to prove that they're natural just isn't going to be practical in most cases. So you're basically accusing someone of something and then leaving them with no recourse and with no way to prove otherwise. Now, the common argument is that natty or not videos are valuable because they help the viewers maintain realistic expectations. Now, that's true to some extent, but also keep in mind that pretty much anybody who's being featured in these videos, if it's a legit middle ground case that could lean either way, that person's physique isn't going to be obtainable by the vast majority of people anyway, whether they're enhanced or they're actually natural. Most people who rise to the top of fitness social media, natty or not, usually, not always, but usually they're going to have reasonably above average genetics. If someone has the type of physique that stands out from the crowd, that stands out from the millions of other people vying for attention on these platforms, they're usually going to need to have those upper percentile genetics in order to get to that position. So if someone gets put into a natty or not video and the verdict is not natty, people are going to say, okay, great, now I know that this isn't naturally obtainable, thanks for letting me know. But if the verdict is natty, that doesn't all of a sudden mean that every natural lifter is going to be able to look like that guy. In fact, it's much more likely that the vast majority of natural lifters still won't be able to look like that if that person looks good enough to the point that everybody is questioning their natural status. So in practice, these videos probably don't actually change much in the real world. The honest, no bullshit reason why people make natty or not videos is because those videos are extremely effective when it comes to getting views and subscribers. It's not because they care so much about their audience and they want to help people maintain realistic expectations. No, it's because those videos help to grow their viewership. That's why those videos get made. And the reason why people watch natty or not videos is mainly because those videos are really entertaining. Okay, human beings are by nature social, gossipy creatures that like watching people talk about other people, which is fine. You know, I'm not even saying that negatively. It's just the way it is. But that's really what it comes down to. Sure, maybe you really are curious about whether that person in the video is natty or not, but at the end of the day, these videos are primarily entertainment. In practice, for the most part, these videos don't actually help people with their fitness programs in any direct quantifiable way. Because again, most of the physiques being featured in those videos are probably not going to be obtainable by the masses, whether that person is natty or not. Now, everybody out there has their own moral stance on this. If other people want to make natty or not videos, then that's up to them. I honestly don't really care that much, but those are the reasons why I personally don't. If I could somehow know with 100% certainty whether somebody was natural or enhanced, then yeah, I probably would make natty or not videos because I'd be more than happy to expose the frauds out there while giving credit to the real naturals and while expanding my channel in the process. But I just can't do it because I'm not comfortable with the consequences of possibly getting it wrong. And you make enough of these natty or not videos and you're definitely going to be wrong from time to time. I've been training naturally since I was in my teens. I know what it's like to put in that consistent, dedicated work over a very long period of time without taking any shortcuts, and I'm not going to run the risk of possibly discrediting somebody who's also gone that same route. So thanks for watching, guys. If you do want to grab a complete step-by-step program that you can use to maximize your own natural potential with everything mapped out in detail, no hype and no gimmicks, just the real truth about gaining muscle and losing fat in the most efficient way, make sure to visit quiz.seannell.com and grab my body transformation blueprint program. That will teach you everything that you need to know from start to finish. You can click up here for that or use the link in the description box below. On the supplementation side of things, you can also visit realscienceathletics.com to check out my research-supported, no BS formulas to help fully streamline your program and optimize your overall muscle building and fat burning results. The link for that is also in the description, and you can use coupon code YouTube15 to save 15% off your entire first order. And as always, make sure to hit that like button, leave a comment down below, and subscribe if you haven't already in order to stay up to date on future videos. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.